Hello, my name is Randall Ramirez, and I am a representative of Regent University. I would like to present to you today a paper entitled, "What Fools These Mortals Be? Mimetic Desire in a Midsummer Night's Dream." Viewed as one of Shakespeare's greatest comedies, A Midsummer Night's Dream tells the fanciful tale of lovers, spirits, mythical gods, and the great lengths that they will all proceed towards in achieving their goal of true love. French philosopher René Girard thoroughly analyzes Shakespeare's works in his book, A Theatre of Envy, and coins the term mimetic desire as a means of breaking down and analyzing the conflicts that are prevalent in each story written by Shakespeare. When speaking of mimetic desire, Girard states, "Individuals who desire the same thing are united by something so powerful that as long as they can share whatever they desire, they remain the best of friends. As soon as they cannot, they become the worst of enemies." These tangled webs of desires are very prevalent in the various plot lines interwoven into A Midsummer Night's Dream. Girard writes, "Desires are no doubt mimetic in this comedy, but not enough to cross each other systematically and trigger the whirlwind of erotic substitutions that generate a crisis of degree." The play A Midsummer Night's Dream can be thoroughly analyzed using Girard's theories of mimetic desire upon looking at the desire and rivalry present in the myriad of characters in the play. The four lovers, Helena and Hermia, Demetrius and Lysander, the gods, the craftsmen, and also at the portrayal of Puck as a scapegoat. When speaking of their love, Hermia tells her lover Lysander, "If then true lovers have ever been crossed, it stands as an edict in destiny. Then let us teach our trial patience, because it is a customary cross, as due to love as thoughts and dreams and sighs, wishes and tears, poor fancy's followers." This lesson in patience will take all of these characters on an epic adventure of love, loss, and discovery that all transpires over the course of one magical midsummer night. While the central plot of A Midsummer Night's Dream focuses on the four young lovers and their adventurous night in the woods, special recognition must be given to the gods of the fairy realm, King Oberon and Queen Titania. While their time on stage pales in comparison to that of the main characters, their imprint is seen all throughout the plotline of the story. Oberon's servant is none other than the mischievous spirit Puck, who serves as the catalyst for the majority of the conflict in this story of magic and love. We see mimetic desire at work in this couple in a different way than what gets presented in the story of the four lovers. Oberon wants Titania to give up her young servant boy to be a knight in his service. With the loss of the young boy's mother, Titania feels a sense of responsibility when it comes to the boy's upbringing and care. While this mimetic desire does not come from a sense of romance like the four central characters, the central idea of two people having a shared desire over one person of object remains relevant. Oberon and Titania serve as mimetic doubles to the mortal lovers that are central to the plot of the story. Girard writes, "Myth is inseparable from the violent symmetry of mimetic doubles, and it is not fortuitous coincidence if these mimetic doubles are the most frequent protagonists of myths in the entire world." Viewers and readers alike are given a peek behind the celestial curtain to see that the romantic lives of deities does not stray far from the lives of their mortal counterparts. While the four lovers are constantly embattled with each other over their own love lives, Oberon and Titania are also involved in a lover's quarrel that involves the Athenian Duke Theseus and his wife Hippolyta. When speaking of this quarrel, Girard states, "There is more than a hint of mimetic jealousy as well in Titania's allusion to an affair that Oberon may have had with Hippolyta, and in Oberon's counterclaim that Titania had an affair with Theseus." Titania herself acknowledges their involvement in the mortal struggle when she tells Oberon, "And this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original." The mimetic desire of the celestial realm spills over into the mortal world when Puck mistakenly uses the magic flower on Lysander, causing the lives of our four lovers to begin their descent into pandemonium. Upon close examination of A Midsummer Night's Dream and the relationships developing between the four young lovers, mimetic desire and rivalry become tossed around as easily as a hot potato in a childhood game. Gerard expresses, events are fast-moving during the Midsummer Night. Before we can recover from the shock of Lysander's infidelity, Demetrius likewise forgets Hermia and falls in love with Helena. Love and devotion are turned on their head with the simple addition of magic from Puck's mischievous flower, and thus the main conflict of the play becomes set in motion. Gerard expresses, all four lovers worship the same erotic absolute, the same ideal image of seduction that each girl and boy in turn appears to embody in the eyes of the others. With the inclusion of Puck's flower, Lysander's love for Helena is quickly transferred over to Hermia. When magic takes the story further awry, both men find themselves to be in love with Hermia, and physical fights ensue. The audience is informed through expository text that Demetrius and Helena were in love with each other when Helena says, "For ere Demetrius looked on Hermia's eyne, he hailed down oaths that he was only mine." Helena, it seems, has always viewed herself as a background character in Hermia's story, which thus amplified the mimetic desire present in their story. Gerard tells his readers, whenever an imitator successfully appropriates the object designated by his or her model, the transfiguration machine ceases to function. With no threatening rival in sight, Hermia found Demetrius uninspiring and turned to the more exotic Lysander. As the lovers change their affections towards each other, the game of love becomes ever more complicated and has a negative effect, not only on their love lives, but on their friendships with each other as well. This idea firmly makes itself known in the loss of friendship between the females, Helena and Hermia. In regards to mimetic rivalry and its relationship to the characters of Helena and Hermia, Gerard writes, just like the boys, the girls are rivals first and lovers second. And, just like the boys, the girls end up at each other's throat. At bottom, there is no difference. Each lover is a mirrored image of the other three, regardless of gender. Helena and Hermia have shared a storied life together, with a friendship that spans back to their young days of childhood. Now, as blossoming young women, their relationship has developed into more of a strained friendship full of rivalry. Helena feels intense jealousy towards Hermia and her relationships with the male characters in the play. She cries, "Call you me fair? That fair again unsay. Demetrius loves your fair." As a testament to her faith in their friendship, Hermia informs Helena of her plans with Lysander to run away and elope. As opposed to being a supportive friend, Helena decides to inform Demetrius. Gerard writes, in A Midsummer Night's Dream, the traitor is Helena, who goes straight to Demetrius. Demetrius is in love with Hermia and will follow her wherever she goes. Helena, in turn, is in love with Demetrius and follows him wherever he goes. The girls are the characters who must undergo the largest emotional change to fully reach their happy end. One could even claim that if it weren't for Puck's reversal of the flower magic, the girls may have never returned to their happier state of love and friendship with each other. Much like their female counterparts, the characters of Demetrius and Lysander also display multiple examples of mimetic rivalry and desire. Gerard tells his readers, the one and only source of conflict in all mature comedies is a crisscrossing of mimetic desires that keep converging on the same object because they imitate each other. This conflict is evident from the opening of the play when it is revealed that Hermia is engaged to Demetrius, but plans to defy her father's wishes to elope with her true love, Lysander. Gerard says of Demetrius, he imitates Lysander because Lysander took Hermia away from him. And like all defeated rivals, he is horribly mediated by his victorious opponent. His desire for Hermia remains intense as long as Lysander provides it with a model. We see this model take his character on a strange journey of love and self-discovery. As the play progresses, Puck interferes once again and sprinkles love juice into the eyes of the men, thereby making them both fall in love with Helena and spurn the love of Hermia. When their love turns so quickly, Helena feels that their feelings come from a place of mockery. As darkness falls over the woods, their rivalry comes to a full crescendo when they are chasing each other through the woods with thoughts of violence in their minds. Puck comes to their rescue, unbeknownst to them, and uses his quick intellect and talent for mimicry to tire the men out until they could no longer fight and went to sleep. Upon the end of this chase sequence, Puck reverses the magic of the flower and makes both men fall in love with the women who they are truly meant to love. Shakespeare takes this opportunity to turn a comedic trope and gender norm on its heels. During this time, tradition speaks that women are usually promised to men and not given a choice in who they become married to. By giving Puck one more magical duty, Shakespeare is allowing the women to truly select the men that they want to share their love and life with, leaving the men under a spell and ultimately blissfully unaware. There is yet another group of characters within the world of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and they are known as the craftsmen. These men are hired to perform the entertainment at the wedding set during the play's conclusion. Of the craftsmen, Gerard deduces, the craftsmen have received less attention than the lovers, and even the most obvious resemblances of the two subplots remain undiscovered. Yet the antics of these people amount to a mimetic crisis quite similar to the one we've just observed among the lovers, and it leads to the same transfiguration of reality. These men become the unwitting folly of the gods and spirits when Puck turns an overconfident weaver by the name of Nick Bottom into a donkey, and then becomes the love interest of Queen Titania after being placed under the spell of Puck's flower. Nick's fear turns to satisfaction when he receives all the benefits that being loved by the queen gives him. Nick is unaware that he is the byproduct of a mischievous plot by Oberon to convince his queen to give up her claim on the young boy that he desires for his service. Once again, Shakespeare shows that the mimetic desires of the gods have a life-altering effect on the mortal world. The plays of Shakespeare all center around a conflict of such nature that actions must be taken, sometimes in the extreme, that change the lives and situations of the given characters. Much Ado About Nothing follows this tradition, but also expands upon it by having multiple plots that can all find their way back to the central character of the spirit, Puck. Gerard writes, Puck is classically mythical. He is regarded as responsible first for the lovers' conflicts, through his willful mistakes in the distribution of the love juice, and then for their reconciliation. Puck is responsible for the conflict between the four lovers of the play, but also for the gods who look down upon the mortal realm. Shakespeare uses Puck as a scapegoat for the events that unfold throughout the play. Throughout the play, Puck is both praised and punished for his actions. Gerard writes, when scapegoats seem worthy of worship, it can only be for the same reason that makes them seem worthy of hatred. By providing a single, common target to the violence generated by human interaction, they save the community from violence. While Puck's intentions are never carried out with acts of ill will, he does delight in the folly of his captors. He avoids the blame for the misplaced love juice by telling Oberon, then fate o'errules that. One man holding troth, a million fail, confounding oath on oath. Puck sees his mistakes as the intervening of fate to truly determine the outcome of the story. While Puck is viewed as the scapegoat throughout the play, he is ultimately responsible for the reconciliation of all the lovers in the story. Gerard writes, all mimetic desire has vanished, and in its stead, we have the dual action of Puck, first as troublemaker, and then as a savior. Puck has righted all of his wrongdoings, and even ends the play with an explanation to the audience that, we will make amends ere long, else the Puck a liar call. So good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. When looking upon the canon of all of Shakespeare's works, A Midsummer Night's Dream stands out as the finest example of Gerard's theories of mimetic desire at work. Using Gerard's work as a magnifying glass, cases of mimetic desire and rivalry become increasingly apparent. Audiences are introduced to the Athenian royalty Theseus and Hippolyta, who serve as bookends to the entire plot of the play, but are also mirrors to the love stories present in the couplings of Hermia and Lysander, as well as Helena and Demetrius. The characters of the four lovers are put through many trials and tribulations, pitting friends and lovers against each other with mimetic desire and rivalry, changing directions faster than even the gods are able to keep up with. While the wheel of desire continues to spin out of control in the forest, it becomes evident that Puck is the hub of the wheel, standing mischievously in the center, watching the events unfold with glee. Put in the hands of any other playwright, A Midsummer Night's Dream would become a convoluted plot line of interconnected lovers, friends, mortals, gods, spirits, and a man who gets turned into a donkey. However, under the skillful hand of Shakespeare, this play has become a classic that is still enjoyed by modern audiences and scholars alike. With its mimetic twists and turns, this fanciful becomes relatable. There are lessons to be learned and journeys to be taken. Within the delivery of Puck's line, "Lord, what fools these mortals be," Shakespeare has revealed his genius to the world. Thank you for your time today.